Welcome to Timesink, the weekly podcast to let you know what's worth sinking your time into. We got a great show for you this week. We're going to talk about what's hot, what's retro, what we're personally working on, Apex Legends, free games, the new Scoob movie, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt versus the Reverend, bad education again. But before we get into that, I'm your host, Sauce. I have not spilled vodka soda all over myself this time. I'm also joined by Mr. Hummer.
I might be here somewhere, maybe. Yeah, definitely here.
And Tito is not here this week because he got in a altercation with a small dog and he's recuperating in the hospital.
I thought he was stuck in the principal's office and was grounded till further notice.
He's grounded, and he also is attending a pro-quarantine coronavirus rally.
I thought it was an Eat, Pray, Love rally.
He is personally writing the sequel to Eat, Pray, Love 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Or he's playing Ghostbusters. We don't really know.
He is not here this week. So we don't got to follow any of the rules he makes us follow.
In that case.
We're going to do whatever we want this week.
All right. Well, what are we talking about today?
Well, I know you wanted to tell me a little bit about the Apex update that I didn't check out yet. So you want to tell everybody what Apex Legends is and if it's worth sinking their time into?
All right. So we're getting immediately into a little bit of what's hot. That's what it sounds like. Yeah. So Apex dropped a new update. Update including some changes to the existing map, Kings Canyon. Adding, buffing some characters, making some stronger, some less stronger. Adding a new one by the name of Loba. First off, for a video game character, she's a 10. Definitely just worth popping the game on just to check her out.
Is she K Bonita?
Oh, yes. No, she's. They did a very good job styling her. She has a little backpack on her that you can't tell if it's actually part of her butt or not. But they list her as stylish, sophisticated, and resourceful. She kind of has this like teleportation device. So she's able to reach these hard to reach places. But her ultimate is a little different than other characters, where like Lifeline is dropping in a care package. She actually has a black market, boutique market that actually pops up. So you're able to go in there and you're able to take, each player's allowed to take 2 items from the black market. So that's actually a pretty good ultimate that works for her. She also has like this passive where she's able to see legendary loot through walls. And it kind of adds a little range to it. So the black market also adds a little range to that. You can see items through walls. The biggest thing that happened in the world of Apex Legends, they updated Kings Canyon and they took out Skulltown. They sunk it.
Wow.
It's gone. So the best part of the map is gone.
Well, can I backtrack here for a second in case somebody doesn't know what Apex Legends is? Can you tell them what that is?
Apex Legends, man. How do I describe what was once the greatest game of all time?
Wow.
It's a battle royale game. It came out probably a year or two after the Fortnite craze that really kind of drove the battle royale scene along with PUBG. But what separates Apex from the rest is, one, it's a little more cartoonish than PUBG, a little bit more realistic in its stylings than Fortnite, so it's right in that middle realm. It also differentiated. There's no building. That's a big thing. And the guns that you get are pretty much the same for everybody. It's just you're adding almost the same attachments to each gun, whether it be a stock, whether it be a barrel stabilizer, whether it be a scope, extended magazine clips. And then your ultimate goal through teams of 3 are to work together, use each other's characters, which have different strengths that play off one another, similar to like an Overwatch style. You have, I know, low-key Overwatch here. But you have, I don't want to call them tanks, but you have like defensive characters who are able to deploy shields to protect your teammates. You have support characters that are able to heal your teammates. And then you have characters that really are not really necessarily offensive, but you could strategize with them to be more like scouts, lookouts, able to create ways to escape. But then you also do have characters that are designed solely for the purpose of attacking. So it allows for a lot of different strategy to be played within the game. And they really play on 2 maps. You have Kings Canyon and World's Edge, and they alternate them throughout the seasons. And so far, I mean, when it was released, I think it was released a pretty good fanfare. So you play it on 2 maps. Kings Canyon, which is the original map that was game day 1 release, and then season 2 made the introduction of World's End or World's Edge. I don't remember exactly what they call it, but they alternate between the 2 maps throughout the season. So it has that little bit of that vibe between I say more of a PUBG, more of an Overwatch, but mixed with a battle royale. A really fun game to play. The new updates, for those of you who are familiar with playing it, they also added charge towers. So each character has an ultimate ability. When you are getting onto this pad, if everybody's on it and it's charged, you will all instantly receive your ult, which can be a huge advantage when you're coming into a fight or about to be third-partied. So that's pretty cool. They also did some crazy buffs that I don't think people were excited about. There's a lot of Pathfinder, whose character is a grappling ability and also able to shoot zip lines. They increased the time between his grappling mechanism, which a lot of people are complaining about. They also did absolutely nothing to my personal favorite, Lifeline. So they kept her being, just good, but she's no longer great like some of the other characters. Sauce, you'll like this one. Maybe this gets you back into the Apex Legends.
Why is that?
Mirage. Mirage is no longer worthless.
Oh my god, he's the best.
He is quite literally now one of the best characters in the game. Before playing with this character, you were able to shoot a decoy, and that decoy would just run absolutely straight and stop at the first sign of trouble. Or you had an ult where it would pop up like 7 of you, but you would just stand still and do absolutely nothing. Now all of them run all over the place, and they act like real people and characters, and you can't tell who's who, and you actually start trying to shoot them.
Yeah, that's what that ultimate should have been from day 1. So it's awesome that it actually works now. I still loved his decoy ability, so anytime I play that game, I love playing as Mirage.
But I just want to hear you say you got bamboozled.
Isn't it amazing that nowadays, like back in the day when a game came out, like that was it. That's all you got. And then around, I don't know, the last 10 years, they started adding like, well, you could pay $25 and you can get an expansion and you can get a little bit more story or maybe a couple more characters. And now they just update these games every couple of months, give you more characters, give you more maps, give you more stuff to do. And half of the ones that are the most popular in the world right now are just free. You don't even have to pay for them. That's amazing.
I feel like it could be a double-edged sword, though. Could you imagine if they would have had to update games like GoldenEye or had the ability to update GoldenEye? Like, I think, like, what would you have changed in GoldenEye?
Yeah, for sure. Not being able to update it was, created part of its charm, and there were bugs left in that you could mess around with and cheat with, and yeah, that was the era. But I mean, now you can get so much lifetime out of one. If you buy an Xbox right now and you pay no money for games, there's tons of free games on there that you could play. And that you can they'll keep updating them to keep them fresh, like Apex Legends. And so I know we're going to get more into some of those free games later, but just thinking about that is like, if I told my like little 12-year-old me that that's where video games were heading, it would blow my mind.
So, Sauce, what is your opinion, your experience with Apex? I know it's been a while since you've been in the game.
Yeah, Apex is a great battle royale. You don't have to pay any money for it, so that's a huge plus. The big ones out right now are Fortnite, which is crazy and zany and a lot of fun. But if you don't like building, like not only are you trying to like 1 versus 100, trying to not die and kill everyone, but also you have to be really good at building on top of that, which makes it more complicated. If you don't want to deal with any of that and you want more characters being different, having different like superpowers, or the other one that has competition is Call of Duty, Warzone. I don't like the just like the real just realness. I like more science fiction-y powers, adding stuff to it. If I want to experience a real war zone, I would have joined the army, right? Not really.
Warzone. I played a little bit of Warzone. I didn't get into it as much as, like, say, Apex, uh, mainly because we've talked about this before too. When you're picking a game, pick what your friends play. Uh, when Warzone came out, I was one of the first ones to download it. I played it. I had some friends playing it for a while. It was fun, but it's just at the end of this, it's not. It's a great way for you to get a free taste of Call of Duty, but I would rather play regular Call of Duty any day over Warzone, just because there's so many good battle royales out there. And frankly, if you want that uh, realistic version, go for pub. Go for battleground player unknown. I think that's the route to go.
Oh wow.
Speaking speaking of quote unquote free.
So what would you give the actually no. That's actually a huge part is having a team that works well together makes a big difference playing those games. Playing by yourself is not as fun as playing with a full squad of your friends that aren't toxic, not mentioning any tunas, I mean names. Um, Playing with a group of people makes a big difference, on those games. But yeah, what would you give the Apex update? So if 5 out of 5 is absolutely stop what you're doing and play right now, and 1 out of 5 is it's not worth your time at all, what would you give it?
It's definitely not a 1. It's definitely not a 5. I mean, if you're an Apex fan, you like it to an extent. I personally don't like that they got rid of one of the most fun places to drop, which was Skull Town. So now it feels like there's less of those places you can go for just all out carnage. When you want it, or when you're not playing ranked and you really just want to play toxic and just rack up kills. But some of the buffs too, the Mirage buff, like, while it makes him absolutely amazing, I can't stand it because I get bamboozled by it all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens. I do think overall I'd give it's a solid 3. Like, if you're not playing Apex, there's no reason to go and pick it up. This isn't going to be life changing for you. But if you're playing Apex, you're going to generally like it. You're going to play it. Depending on the characters that you're playing, you're really going to enjoy it. Like, for instance, Gibraltar. Well, you probably won't like his dome shield went from 18 seconds to 12, so he got drastically reduced. Pathfinder got reduced. It's almost like they were kind of buffing the older characters, but I generally like it and it's a free game. You hit that point. Here's the other thing too. Not only is it available on consoles, but even if you want to play on PC, and we'll get into another game that's really similar to this, you don't have to have a 280 Ti to run this game at ultra high settings. You don't need a crazy good gaming PC to be able to play Apex at its best. You can really run this on a pretty much an entry level machine and have a very good time playing Apex.
It's interesting that you said that too, because I actually do want to jump back into it because my favorite character got better. So even though you said maybe it's not worth it jumping back in if you haven't been playing it, I think I'm going to. But it's also really hard because there's so many other games out there right now, which we're going to talk about. But before we do, there's 2 new movies out that I wanted to talk about. I don't think you've seen them, Hummers, and I think Tito has, but he's
I heard there's a prerequisite for these.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. So, okay. So the first one is the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt versus the Reverend. So have you ever seen Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, the show?
Yes, I have. I love that show.
Okay. Did you see all 4 seasons?
I think I did. I can't remember. It's been a while. I started watching Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, I want to say, after like the second time watching through The Office, and I was just so obsessed with her playing the character of the receptionist, and I saw she had her own show, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah, Ellie Kemper plays Kimmy Schmidt, and she played Erin on The Office, and she's great in that. And it's also Tina Fey, like fresh off of 30 Rock, finding another show to write. So if you're looking for a new show that you haven't seen and want something to sink your time into, the TV show, which is on Netflix, is Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. It's got 4 seasons, but the first season's great. The rest of the seasons definitely taper off, but the characters, Titus Andromedon, that character is one of my favorite characters in TV history because he's so over the top and so amazing, and everything he says is hilarious. So even though the story kind of wavers in the last couple of seasons, just watching Titus is hilarious. Titus is my Netflix icon when I log into my account. I love him so much.
I actually just saw I saw that like on Netflix, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and I saw it and when I saw like the title, I'm like, Daniel Radcliffe, he wasn't in Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and then I'm like, I didn't realize it was a movie until you just said that. Now I'm like, oh,
hey,
something new to watch.
Well, let me tell you if it's worth it. Okay, so if you haven't watched the show, it's not worth it yet at all. But it is not just a movie that kind of wraps up the whole series, so it's ending the story for all the characters. It's an interactive, choose your own adventure style story, kind of like how Black Mirror did that one Bandersnatch episode where you could kind of like choose what the characters are going to do. Did you ever see that one?
No, but that actually sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. So you have to make choices just like a choose your own adventure book throughout the episode, and you can fuck up. Like within the first 4 minutes, I made some choices and got to the end, and they just straight up said like, this is you fucked up. You shouldn't have made these choices. And what's nice is, so you can make a lot of different choices, and even if you mess up, it will go back and tell you like what you did wrong, like, and give you hints on like different choices to make. But what's really funny is there's a lot of Easter eggs hidden in there. So like you can make the obviously wrong choice, and then if you make it again, a different scenario will play out. So there's like multiple gags and multiple jokes you can find. And it was really fun choosing the obviously wrong answers. So as an interactive story, it was really entertaining with those characters. It was a lot of fun. I messed up quickly my first 2 watch throughs, and so then I started trying to actually make the right choices. And after I watched it and got the good ending, because it'll tell you got the good ending, I went back and tried to like make wrong choices because it was fun and it was hilarious. So if you've watched season 1 through 4, I would give this a solid 4 out of 5. It's definitely worth your time, but there's other stuff out there that you can check out. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch through it and play through it.
Oh god! This whole time I thought you were talking about Black Mirrors, and now I realize that you're talking about Kimmy Schmidt being interactive. This is amazing. That's definitely going to be on my list of watching here for this upcoming week. Unfortunately, I will do that without my wife because she did not watch Kimmy Schmidt, so I have to find time on my own for that.
Oh, bummer. And what's really funny too is if you like place through something and make the wrong choice, when you play through the scene again leading up to the choice, it'll give you different like dialogue. So they found a way to pack as many jokes and like alternate takes of a scene into one episode, which is really genius. It was basically like playing through a video game, but it was so funny. I love Titus. He's so amazing. Titus Andromedon is my spirit animal.
Is this your favorite show that he's in, or is there anything else that you like him in?
I know he's on Broadway. I don't know what else he's in.
I think on Broadway he might play the genie.
Yep.
In Aladdin.
Yep, that's it.
So I've seen that. I went to New York, and me and my wife watched that one. I think personally he's the star of that, besides the actress who plays Jasmine. I don't know her name, but she's really freaking hot. But Titus he's hysterical in that. He does a really good genie. probably would have been a better genie than Will Smith in the live action reshoot on Disney.
Thank God Tito's not here.
Thank God.
He would be losing his shit.
He does not hear because he hates kids.
That's why he couldn't be here today. He's at that court hearing.
Oh, well, enough about that. No, that's a good one. My wife and I too. So when we watch movies and TV throughout the week and TV shows, we're really trying to think, like on the weekends we watch those movies that we want to watch that we haven't seen. We try not to repeat as much on the weekends, but then like during the weekdays, that's where we might want to find something that we maybe want to fall asleep to, or we're watching our TV shows. Like right now we're watching Sopranos for the first time. I know it's really old, but it's actually kind of cool going back and being like, hey, this is 1999. They didn't have smartphones. Like, how did they live? How did we live in 1999?
They weren't living. That's the answer. Life was pointless then.
Only the Sopranos were living. Like it's been kind of cool going back and watching that and picking up on a show that some people would argue, at least in the Netflix documentary, I believe it was, or the CNN documentaries, the 90s, that like they kind of pinpoint as the Sopranos as being like a game-changing series for TV. And I can kind of see why. It's very graphic for a TV show. You see people get like murdered. They're trying to show the underbelly of the mob. I think they're doing a very good job so far in season 1. But then when we come at night, we're trying to watch shows that we've seen, movies that we think are good, that we like, but maybe we've either seen them enough or we have just, they're just good enough that you don't really feel the need to finish them all in one sitting. So like we turned on Hunger Games. That's a show that is one of my guilty pleasures is the Hunger Games series.
It is a guilty pleasure. So I'm looking at you funny right now.
So guilty. I enjoy Katniss Everdeen.
Well, I get that because you're a shallow monster.
Absolutely. So then the movie that we watched that's new that we're going to rate for you this evening, afternoon, morning, whenever you choose to listen to us, for myself, is called Bad Education, released in 2019. It is a film directed by Corey Finley, a relatively new director. Starring
Not to
Hugh
be
Jackman.
confused with John Finlay.
Not to be confused. Starring Hugh Jackman, Ray Romano, and I think I said something earlier today that you looked at me funny too. I said this might be one of the first Hugh Jackman movies I've watched since he's been the Wolverine. And you kind of like, how?
There's been so many good movies.
So I'm just going to have to go through his Internet Movie Database and see which ones I need to catch up on.
Les Mis, the Greatest Showman, Wolverine Origins. No, the Wolverine movie, but you said that.
He wasn't in Australia. Yeah, Australia. Well, Grant, that's not a new one, but that's a really good old, at this point, old 12-year-old flick. If you haven't seen Australia, I highly suggest going back and seeing that. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I saw Logan was the last one, and then this one, Bad Education. No more hiding the name of this one. It's called Bad Education. Hugh Jackson, Ray Romano, and it's based off of a true story, a crazy true story, the uncovering of the largest embezzlement scandal for any public education system in the history of the United States, uncovering something like a $11 or $12 million embezzlement scheme from a school in Long Island, New York. The premise is that the school was in the dumps, and when Hugh Jackman's character takes over, he gets the school to being ranked as high as number 4 in the country for private schools. So they're boasting about how many kids are going to Harvard, to Yale, to Princeton, to all these Ivy League schools. And he seems to be the very likable character. And it's, from what I was reading, they seem to stay pretty true to the actual story of the way things went down. There wasn't really a need to Hollywood it up. Because it had everything that you really wanted in a story like this. there's not really too much in terms of spoilers here, because if it's a crime novel, you generally know why it's a crime, why they're covering the crime. But the way they did it, the Hugh Jackman was fantastic in it. Ray Romano, I don't like, he gets this like headline on the title sequence, but I think appears maybe 10, 20 minutes of the whole film.
Spoiler.
Spoiler. Don't come see this movie if you want to see Ray Romano. It's definitely worth the thing. It's very intriguing the way they go through and the way they tell the story, and it's just a fascinating character. The principal here, to like the life, the way he hid his life throughout the movie, and kind of try to hide what he was. How the real life character tried to justify that what he did was right is very fascinating. So I'd give it a look. I'd give it a 4. It's worth your next movie out. If you don't have one lined up, pick this one up. Go on Netflix, pick it up.
Yeah, Tito gave it a 4 too. He talked about it a couple episodes back. I still haven't checked it out yet, but I'm going to. It's on my list.
Well, Tito, I should listen to you more.
Nah, that's a mistake, and that's why he's not here.
Yeah, if he weren't helping teachers embezzle money right now, he would be here.
Yeah, sorry you got caught, Tito. So for family movie night this week, I got to check out the new Scoob movie. And let me tell you, I've got a lot of thoughts about this. I hope you got an hour free so I can tell you about it.
The Scooby Doobie Doo.
Tito didn't want me to talk about Scoob, but he's not here, so I can do what I want.
Didn't he say no to it a while back?
Yeah, he said, don't watch it. I'm going to kill you if you talk about it on the podcast. So he'll never know. So Scoob is a new CGI animated version updated for 2020 is the Scooby-Doo story. But what's really great about it is, did you watch any of the old school Hanna-Barbera cartoons back in the day when you were a kid?
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
Scooby-Doo was the one that was on, I think, every day after school.
Nice. So you had like Flintstones and the Jetsons, but then you had like the Blue Falcon and Captain Caveman and Hong Kong Phooey and Jabberjaw and Speed Buggy and the Wacky Racers. So
the Wacky Racers.
You remember that? I'm so glad you remember that, because that's a huge like callback in the movie. You remember the Wacky Racers?
Oh, God, Scooby! You might actually get me watching this one, even though I don't have kids.
Yeah, I mean that's what's great about kids movies these days. They make them really well. They're really well done. YouTube Wacky Racers, and that theme song will kick in, and I don't know, it'll bring back a lot of nostalgia for you.
Oh, I already did.
Good.
It's on right now.
Good. So the Scooby movie is, they got the original, not the original, but the guy who's been voicing Scooby for like the last, I don't know, 20, 30 years. Frank Welker, who also does Megatron, the original Megatron in the Transformers cartoons. So he's an excellent voice actor. And they got Zach
Efron.
Yeah, he's great. You know what's funny is in the Transformers movies, they got in the first Transformers movie, they got the original Optimus Prime to voice Optimus Prime, and that's why he was awesome. But then they got Megatron voiced by Elrond, Mr. Smith. I can't remember his name. Yeah, he plays the Red Skull. You know who I'm talking about?
I do know who you're talking about. This is incredible. Frank Welker. Like, I'm never would have pictured Megatron to Scooby.
Yeah. Plus he does, I mean, look up his I don't know, one of my secret passions is like looking at all the different voice actors like portfolios, and he's voiced a lot of characters from your past. Most of them have.
Yeah, I see he was Star Wars Resistance, Curious George. He's done other Scooby movies, the Guardian of the Galaxy TV series.
Yeah, but
he did Aladdin. He was in Aladdin.
Scroll all the way down to like the bottom if you're looking on IMDb.
Allison one. Well, Jesus Christ, this guy's been here forever.
Yeah, he's a pro.
This is the black hole of information here. Let's just, we're gonna have to click the bar and drag it all the way down. Okay, so he started way back. The Partridge, his first appearance in any show I wouldn't be able to tell you what this one was, but The Trouble with Girls. But then he was in the original Scooby Doo series from '69 to '70.
Oh, so he was the original.
He Fred Jones. He did Fred Jones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He did Fred too.
Yeah.
But so for the new Scoob movie, they got Zac Efron to play Fred. But at least
he's
Frank
so
Welker,
handsome. He is just so handsome.
I mean, he is. Like, what do you want me to say? He is. He's a good-looking dude. Anyway, man, I got real distracted by Zac Efron.
So anyway, he will do that. He'll do that to you.
A lot of great actors in it, and so the what's cool about the movie is they team up, because you know how Scooby Doo used to team up, with like the Harlem Globetrotters. Obviously, like that's how you solve a mystery. That they team up with some of the classic Hanna-Barbera characters. So they team up with, and that's not a spoiler because it's in the trailer, but the Blue Falcon and Dynamite, which I used to love when I was a little kid. And there's more, but I won't spoil those. It's a really good story. You'll definitely tear up at the end. Even in the beginning when it shows little Shaggy meeting Scooby for the first time, and it gets real emotional. Okay, don't judge me. This is why Tito didn't want me to talk about it. And it's a great movie. It's a great kids movie. I watched it in that context with my kids. I don't know if I would have watched it without having kids, but I'm glad that I did. If it's worth your time, like I'd probably say a 3 out of 5. If you can find it on sale or if you can get it for free. I had to pay for it full price because right now, if any new release is like $20 to rent or $25 just to own it, so I'm like, might as well just own it because the kids are going to want to watch it again. But yeah, maybe
this is a sneaky good cast.
Yeah,
I mean, you're talking Mark Wahlberg, playing Blue Falcon.
He's great in it.
Amanda Seyfried, Ken Jeong, he's absolutely hysterical. Tracy
Chang.
Morgan, Senior Chang, Tracy Morgan. I don't know if this one really counts, but Simon Cowell plays himself in the movie.
Yeah, that was a part. That was a thing.
But that's a sneaky good cast. Seems like it'd be pretty underrated, but you're giving it a 3. What about with people without kids?
Well, and remember, I'm giving it a 3 of, if you should watch it or not. That's not the quality scale. Quality wise, it's for sure a 4.5 out of 5. It's a really good movie, but if it's worth your time, if you don't have that nostalgia,
you're giving it a harsh rating, man. Internet Movie Database user rating is 6 out of 10.
Man, I mean, I'm the key demographic for that movie. I grew up on that shit, so it's hitting me right where I live.
Gut punch. And with that, Tito just spilled more vodka. Tito.
I'm gonna get so many angry texts.
Sauce just spilled.
The people who know Tito in real life think he's a really nice guy, but behind closed doors, he's very verbally abusive to me, and probably his wife and kids.
The first time Tito commented on something that I put on Twitter, people legitimately thought it was the Tito vodka brand. It was great.
We're blowing up.
So we don't spill Tito vodka though, only Smirnoff. This episode brought to you by Tito Premium Vodka.
And Belvedere, because that's my vodka of choice.
And Kirkland, because it's cheap.
An old black man introduced me to Belvedere. That's how you know it's good. And he made me drink it straight, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I got street cred.
Don't want to ruin your life thinking here, but basically all vodka is the exact same.
You shut up. You son of a
It
bitch.
is. There's I forget there was the law that was passed, and I was reading the article the other day of how actually you got these high luxury brands of vodka, but essentially like vodka, the way it's made is just like it's always supposed to be the purest form with no flavorings added whatsoever. So it's just be like the pure taste of vodka. And so basically you have manufacturers who actually just basically get this concentrated version of vodka and they'll just add water to it. But the guy who went and created Grey Goose was married into a wealthy family, wanted to do his own thing, went over to France, found some people who would make some vodka. And he said, well, instead of charging, $10 a bottle, I'm going to automatically charge $30 a bottle and just ship it in nice wooden boxes and in a nice glass bottle. But it's the same exact vodka that you would get from like the crappiest type of vodka you could find.
I don't know. I mean, that could be true.
Next week we ruin wedding rings for you, gentlemen, and diamonds for you.
Diamonds,
ruin them.
Diamonds have no value. They're not real.
Unless they're in the tip of a saw blade.
I can definitely tell the difference between good vodka and bad vodka. There's definitely a flavor difference.
Hey, don't shoot the messenger.
And a big part of it is the sweeteners that they put into it. So like the way that it's flavored is definitely factors into the quality. But I don't drink the flavored ones anyway, so this is not about movies or video games. But you know what? Alcohol complements both of them. So really
alcohol
it
is, it can't be a 5 out of 5 because that means you're necessarily dependent upon it. So, it's a solid 3.5, 4.
Yeah, wait till it's on sale. So, but Scoob, yeah, Scoob is great. So moving on anyway. So some other things to do while you're drinking vodka is play some of these free games that are out right now. There's so many free games. You don't got to spend any money to play any of these things. And not only that, even for just $10 a month, you can get Game Pass, our impromptu sponsor, and play all those games. It's basically like free, but we're only going to be talking about free games today and what's worth your time. So we talked about Apex. Homer's got the biggest smile on his face because he's got his dog in his lap right now, who keeps trying to ruin our show, by the way. If you hear a bunch of edits in this episode, it's because of his dog barking and biting
Not
him.
just barking, whining. He got so annoyed that my wife dragged him out of the bedroom and said, go hang out in here. But yeah, so free games. We've already talked about Apex, which is a good one. I don't know about you, Sauce. I want to save the last one, the newest one that we've discovered for last.
Sure.
Okay, so right now you are maybe too late for this on PC, but if not, check to see if there's a doing it. GTA 5 went free on PC this on the 15th of March or 15th of May. So totally free. You own it. It's yours. They can't take it away. It was the response. It was so overwhelming. It crashed the servers at Rockstar Games. It was taking people forever to download it. You still can't get into online games reliably, even like 5 days after they've done this. But it's also free on Sauce's favorite platform,
Game Pass.
This episode also brought to you by Game Pass. Not really. But yeah, so we talked about GTA 5 pretty extensively last episode, though, even though we didn't know it was going completely free in our open world. So that's a good one. It's free. Now's the time to get it. Like if you were looking for an open world game, GTA 5 just gave you a reason to do it.
I didn't know that it crashed the servers from everybody trying to download it, which is crazy because it's still, I know I said this last week, but it's in the top 10 most selling games of the month ever since it came out. Yet still people are trying to download it for free. Yet it's sold so many millions of copies. Like that's insane. So yeah, if you need a game to play, boom. Grand Theft Auto 5's there.
Well, too, on PC, because it's such an, I can't believe I'm going to say this too. It's such an old game being released in 2013 that your hardware today that you're running it, if you're building a computer today with say a $700, $800 budget, you're going to be able to run that game at 140, 150 frames per second at 1080p. So you're going to be running that on a 144 hertz monitor looking absolutely gorgeous. Because it's not a bad looking game for its age.
I run it in 4K.
I run it in 4K. I run it in 4K at 30 frames per second.
I'm all about looking good on the outside and no filler.
All right, I got no room to talk. I'm only on a 60 hertz 1080p monitor,
What an amateur.
but I have two
So
of them.
so we talked about Apex. Fortnite also free right now, one of the most popular games in the world. If you haven't played Fortnite yet, I mean, you're not going to play now. And now is probably the worst time to get into it because everybody's going to be better than you. Even though you remember when we did, when we downloaded that update, so they season 2 had like this giant update to Fortnite, and they updated the graphics. It looks amazing, especially in 4K.
Was that season 2 or was it like season 5 that we did this?
It was chapter 2, whatever. Like they did,
Chapter 2.
yeah.
Okay,
The
yeah.
chapter 2, we dove in and we started crushing it, and we're like, oh my god, how did we get so good at Fortnite? And then we started looking into it, and we realized we were playing against a bunch of AI robots. So we weren't good enough to play with the real people. So
Oh no, we suck again.
we we thought we were so good.
I'm like, as soon as I download the update, I'm like, oh my god, I won my first match of the new update in solo mode. Nope, no, you didn't. No. We sneakily added bots.
It wasn't real.
We inceptioned you.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. So I don't know. Maybe it is a good time for you to jump in. But no, if you haven't played Fortnite yet, it's free on everything. You can get it on your iPad, your phone, every system. So I mean, you probably already played it by now. So it's not even worth rating.
Yeah, and it runs, but I mean, yeah, it runs fantastic on Xbox. It runs fantastic on PlayStation. Yeah, so you don't really you don't need to invest in a high-end gaming PC to enjoy this title, for it being a relatively newer one. So that is a good plus to it. It is entertaining too, even if you're okay and you have a good squad that you're traveling with. That can make it fun because I think it's not the originators, but the originators of the funny emotes and the skin content. You can quickly find yourself spending a ton of money on the game.
If you're doing it right.
If you're doing it right, you will. If you're having fun, you will definitely spend more money than what you really wanted to. But takes some. It takes money to make money.
And I will say this, that they definitely used the weight of the popularity of their game to pioneer true cross-platform. I mean, I could have somebody at home playing on their Xbox and another friend playing on a computer and me at work playing on my iPad, which I've never done before and I never would do, obviously. But I could theoretically, we all could be playing in the same game together. So that is huge, and that's going to make a big impact because that's what every game should do, really. Like, it doesn't matter if somebody owns it on PlayStation or Xbox. We should be able to play together. That's where we need to be in the future. And one of the other things that Fortnite's pioneering that is very cool, and it's not going to sound cool at all, but if you've actually experienced it, it's very revolutionary. The fact that they can get these millions of people that are playing all at the same time and change the map live and do an in-game concert and get real talent to not only be there in the game playing their music where everyone can hear it at the same time, but make it interactive so your character can be doing cool stuff depending on like what's going on in the song. You can look up the Travis Scott concert that they just did. I didn't experience it personally, but it looked so cool because me and Hummer were at that first Marshmallow concert together in game. That was really cool, and they've only gotten better since then.
Yeah, that one was a lot of fun. I actually really enjoyed that. I remember like waiting around all day, like, yes, I'm going to a concert tonight. And my wife's just looking at me like, you're a loser. I'm like, babe, I'm going to the first ever digital concert.
Yeah, I mean, you are a loser for it, and I am too, but it was still really cool. So yeah, I'll give Fortnite its props for everything it's doing and revolutionizing. But again, if you haven't played it by now, you're not going to play it.
Yeah, I mean, and Fortnite's also had its place in helping, kind of increase the exposure at which platforms like Twitch and Mixer and streaming have picked up. Overwatch is definitely, has its place there, League of Legends, the other game, but Fortnite's kind of brought it to the mainstream to the people who don't even think about it on a normal day to day. The fact that my parents knew that kids were streaming themselves playing Fortnite, or that my nieces and nephews were coming to Thanksgiving doing the floss dance, and they're asking what
Okay.
is that, and I'm like, yeah, it's Fortnite. And then I'm getting into arguments about my uh, little cousin about Fortnite. Like, no joke, was talking to my like 11-year-old cousin about Fortnite, um, and she wanted to see my collection of skins. So naturally, I pulled up my account on my smartphone. Uh,
Nice.
so I'm like, yeah, check out all my skins.
That's actually the real reason why Tito couldn't be here tonight is because he's in a national flossing contest. He's top tier. He beat regionals, and now he's going to states. So good luck, Tito.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck.
So Fortnite. We also got Call of Duty. That's free right now, sort of. The open world
Just
battle royale part is free.
yeah, Warzone. It's okay. I mean, if you're a big fan of Call of Duty, you'll like it. It's a little different though. It's definitely not as run and gun shooter, but you can fly helicopters around the map with your teammates, which is pretty cool. You can all ride in the cars together around the map. It's pretty cool. Um, it's the same physics though that you're used to with the gun battles. Um, the armor plates are a little different in this time, where you do pick up kind of like shields like you would in an Apex or Fortnite, and you have to replace your shield and your vest. Um, but honestly, if I had to choose between the battle royales, me personally, I'm going Apex over Fortnite and Warzone and even PUBG. But they all have their merits. They all have what they're good at. I just think Apex is a pretty solid all around game for battle royale.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you there. But if you're looking for a free game that's not a battle royale, I didn't run these by you, Hummer, because I forgot about them. But Destiny 2 is free now, so that I sunk so many hours into the first Destiny. That's not a game you need to really play with other people to appreciate. It's a sci-fi. It's like from the original makers of Halo. It's a sci-fi open world shooter where you're going to different planets and doing missions with your friends, and it's a lot of fun, especially because some missions you could team up with like 6 people and try to go on a raid, and it's just basically an hour-long puzzle that you have to kill your way through to kill the final boss. There's multiple ones. That was the first one, and then they only made more stuff to do in the second one. Second one kind of had a bad start, but they've added so much to it now because that's where we're at in games, is where they just keep adding to it and improving it. um, so Destiny 2 worth checking out. It's free now, so I would give that probably a, honestly, I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5 because I never really, yeah, I see cringing over there.
Destiny to me, it was fun when I first picked it up because I was playing, like you said, with friends. But then I took like a break from it, or I forget what happened, but I literally didn't get a chance to play it for like a month. And when I came back, they were just at such a higher level than me that it was no fun to play with them at all. And naturally, I quit playing the game. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this sucks. And I went back to playing Grand Theft Auto 5 when Destiny 1 came out. So it's kind of what's also kept me from Destiny 2, is that fear of just like, oh God, what if I decide not to play this for 2 weeks and my friends level up 10 levels, and now I'm stuck basically sitting there having to watch them do all the work while I try to level up off their coattails.
Yeah, that game is a grind, a major
Yeah.
grind. But the gameplay is fun though. Like the shooting feels really good, and the different powers you can use is really fun. But there's, I don't know if you've heard of this game before. It's called Warframe. It's kind of like Destiny, but with way more stuff to do. It's been around, I think, a little bit longer. It's on Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, so you could play it on anything. I tried it and I tried to get into it and it was fun, but there's just so much. Like it was too overwhelming, and I kind of just stopped playing because there's too much to do.
I think you did tell me about that one. See, that's where right now, and I don't know about you, but I'm trying to find the games that I'm playing, and I'm trying to keep the number at the moment like relatively contained, because I'm still sinking a lot of time into Assassin's Creed.
Sure.
And I want to make sure, and that's a game that I actually want to finish all the way through the story. But I'm actually having fun doing all the side missions, so I find myself getting sidetracked. Like the other night, I spent an hour and a half literally just syncing up synchronization points that I haven't done yet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I'm realizing how much faster it is to actually complete missions having those synced up. So I'm literally just spending time going to worlds, getting to synchronization point, not doing any missions, going straight to another one. And it's hysterical because I'm actually leveling up in the process. And then when I go back through and I can beat all these lower level missions super easily, and it's just like it compounds itself on being able to level up. So it's fun. So yeah, so Warframe, did you got a chance to play it?
I was playing it for a little bit. I was actually playing it on Switch because it's nice just to be able to lay in bed and play some games laying down before you go to bed. But man, it was a mistake because playing shooters on Switch is not good. Those sticks were not made for first person shooters.
My wife would kill me if I did that.
Well, luckily my wife goes to sleep at like 8 or 9, so I've got a couple hours every night to do something.
So does mine. That's why I stay in my office. My man cave,
You and
my battle
Conrad.
station. Yeah, me and Conrad.
So yeah, we're running out of time. So there are still a lot of other free games out there right now. So now's like a golden age of just saving money and getting a lot of stuff. But me and Hummer want to jump into something that we've been spending a lot of time in that's free that I've wanted to play for a while, but I never did because I never got into PC gaming, and I didn't until Hummer built his, and now I have someone to play with. The game is called Splitgate. It's a combination of Halo. So it's a first-person shooter. You got team 4 versus 4. You're trying to kill the other team, but it's also
Run and gun.
run and gun, straight up. But it's also a combination of the Portal games, which are fantastic games. So basically, you can shoot portals in the map, warp to different spots in the map, and you're playing Halo at the same time, and it is phenomenal. Do you want to tell everybody about it, Hummer?
Well, I mean, you hit it on the nail on the head there. The other cool part too, and granted, this is not necessarily like what makes it Overwatch at all, because it's nothing like Overwatch, but it actually has a cool tracking system for the end of game stats, similar to Overwatch, where you're getting gold, silver, bronze,
Oh
for
yeah,
who has the
yeah.
most kills on the team, which is pretty cool. So it gives you all these advanced stats at the end of each match. Um, but yeah, you're like you can set a portal. And you can actually use some strategically to where like you can set a portal up behind the enemy team. If they don't see it, you can start shooting them through your portal, and they don't notice it until they're dead, and it's super satisfying. But the other cool part about this game, being that it's not on console yet, which is something that they're working towards when you hear the developers talk about it, but it's literally the minimum or like the recommended system requirements is like an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 660 with 1 gigabyte of VRAM. That's such an old card that if you wanted to build a game, like some of these games we're talking about can be built and you're running, let's just say for the sake of cheapness here, GeForce GTX 1650, it's $150 right now at B&H Photo. It's not the greatest of cards, but it's not a terrible card. Can still run some decent games today. Maybe not at ultra high settings, but medium low settings. But it's going to be able to run this game at like ultra high settings, so super high responsiveness, and it still looks like it's a good looking game. But it's a good way to be able to, if you want to dip your toes into PC gaming and you don't want to spend a lot of money, you can pick up games like Splitgate. You can pick up games like Apex. Uh, what else have we been playing that's relatively reasonably not hard on your hardware? Grand Theft Auto is going to be another great one that you're going to be able to play at relatively high resolutions. Overwatch is going to run great on a 1050 Ti. So there's a lot of games that you're going to be able to pick up, and if you want to build a medium gaming system where you're not spending more than $500. But in the long run, what I'm learning is after you get your PC built, PC gaming is less expensive overall than Xbox gaming, as long as you're not constantly tinkering like I am and wanting to just buy stupid things. But like you don't pay for Xbox Game Pass. These games were free. I didn't have to have a subscription for it. It's basically it's almost included in my broadband.
Nice. Yeah. So basically, if you've got like a cheap laptop, you could play this game Splitgate, is what you're saying, right?
I don't know if it's going to run necessarily on integrated graphics. I think you might still have to have a discrete graphics to play it and have fun with it, because they typically say for PC gaming you need at least 30 frames per second to have a console-like experience. I'm not sure if the newer integrated graphics are going to be able to handle that. Maybe they can on ultra low settings, but if you have anything that has any kind of discrete graphics card in it, for the most part, I think on a laptop you should be able to run this game fine.
And it is extremely fun. It is. I love putting a
Oh, it's so
portal
addicting.
up high in the air where nobody can see, and then I'll go hide in the corner and put another exit portal and just snipe through it, so nobody has any idea where I'm at, and I can just start sniping people, and it's extremely satisfying. Or you can just warp behind the enemy team and just get behind them with the shotgun. It is so fun.
I wish the game now had a thing where it was like camper double kill.
Yeah, that would be me. Remember how we thought we were sweet too because we were getting so many kills, and it turned out we were playing against bots again.
Well, the thing, so I've been playing since then, and I definitely there's a mix, but I'm still finding that I feel like I'm not terrible at the game still, even with against regular people. I'm nowhere near like 35-1, but definitely have a kill death ratio over 3, which I think is pretty good.
Damn. So yeah, definitely. I would give Splitgate a 5 out of 5. If I was going to recommend one free game to play this week, it's going to be Splitgate.
And if I were home this week, I would say check me out streaming it, or check us out streaming it this weekend. I'm still debating. I'm going to be going to visit some family who just had a baby, and they want us to come visit. So I'm not sure if I'm going to bring my PC or not, and if I do, how I'm going to hook it up to their internet because my PC does not have Wi-Fi.
Ugh.
I know. But if I do, we'll be streaming. Check it out. Or check it out in a couple of weeks. We'll be streaming, and if you don't want to play it, you can watch us play it.
Yeah, absolutely. Any pet projects you're working on before we sign off here, Hummer?
Getting the old streaming setup up and running, and being able to see your beautiful face while we play some video games.
And where can people follow you at if they want to watch your stream?
Mixer at Humdingalinger.
You want to spell that for people like me who have no idea how it's spelled still?
HUMDINGALINGER. Humdingalinger.
Nice. So my pet project I've been working on is one of them. Right now, there's so many podcasts out, and there's at least 3 different podcasts that I can think of where the actual people that were on the show are going through and breaking down each episode and going over like their little stories and fun facts and behind the scenes. So there's Office Ladies, which is Pam and Angela from The Office going over every episode of The Office, like a rewatch, a watch through.
That's fantastic.
Right? Yeah. There's
Ken Jeong.
Ken Jeong and Joel McHale are doing a community one, although it's kind of like not super.
They hate each other, don't they?
Yeah, they're frenemies.
They talked about it on one of the episodes of Office Ladies.
It works. Yeah. The one where Joel McHale crashed it.
Email surveillance. If you guys want to skip ahead, you do not. I mean, I suggest listening to these in chronological order. But if you're not going to, and you want to listen to some frenemies, email surveillance, Kim joins that episode, and Joel, and Joel comes in and hijacks it, and Jenna's not happy.
That's what their podcast is like. It's just Joel McHale being a dick to Ken Jeong, and it's great. But that's
on my list.
The one that I'm really into right now, and then I'm doing one episode a week and doing it. I'm listening to one episode of the podcast, and then I'm watching the episode, is the Scrubs podcast. So it's called Fake Doctors, Real Friends, and it's Zach Braff and Donald Faison, who played JD and Turk in Scrubs. And so I'm doing that and watching one episode of Scrubs a week, which is another fantastic show. If you've never seen it, definitely worth your time checking it out. I haven't watched it in a long time, so I don't want to give it a score since it's my personal project, and I'm going to get through it one episode a week, but that's what I'm doing.
Beautiful. I love it. I'm definitely going to check out the community one, and I'll definitely throw my support behind you on the Office Ladies. I'm jealous of them.
Yeah, that's why we got to start a TV show so we can start another podcast. Only for that reason.
Beautiful. Well, it's that time.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us this week. Sorry Tito couldn't be here because he has to get rid of he's in a biker gang and he's got to take care of some cartel business. But you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube and Facebook at Timesink Pod. We're on Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And we'll see you next Thursday.
Yeah, I'm still angry Tito didn't come over to watch my dog. I'm really pissed off about that. All right, guys.
Oh, yeah, you stopped recording, right?
Nope.
Great. Nice.